Challenge first. Blizzard asked me first, can you make the rip tyre from our game Overwatch? And I said, yes I can. We made a 2-stroke version. It worked just like the one in the game, but it wasn't destructive enough. So we've made this 600cc rip tyre spinning beast. It's literally gone out of this field and halfway up the hill across the other side. I'm getting the truck, I'm gonna go and get it. Right, got the big wheel loaded. We're gonna try and hit the Freelander. We've got a lovely Freelander, which I do think is Tom's dad's. Rock right in my chest then. Proper out that dude. Yeah, right there, look. There we go. Tom's dad weren't too happy about the Freelander. It's alright, we've got a white van. Right, that's it then. What just happened? That's gone through the van. It actually went through the van. I told you the first one wasn't destructive enough. That is awesome. I'm going to do that again. In your face, man! Does some damage, but what about the big one with the spikes? Oh yes, this I am excited for, and a little bit nervous if I'm honest with So we've got power and we've got destruction, but we need fire. Yeah? Brilliant! Brilliant! The whole thing's on fire! Yeah! Turn the lights. You look too Yes! Riptire! Subscribe! This is the Colin First channel! When it comes to DIY tunnelling, I'm writing the book on it. I've dug them from my house, I've dug them from my workshop, and I've dug a massive underground bunker in my back garden. But it's not just me at it. Tunnel Dave is digging his own Great Escape style tunnel. And with it being the 80th anniversary that the boys got out, I decided to go and see him, and we're going to break out ourselves. Oh, if only it was that simple. So I'm off to see Tunnel Dave. Now his project is a lot different to mine. He's got a shipping container buried in his garden, as you can see, and it's accessed by a spiral staircase which has been built inside a well. Now this project is inspired by the Great Escape, so it's a tunnel that you crawl down, not walk down. But in true Great Escape style, we've got a windscreen wiper-powered air pump to pump air through the tunnel, and then we've got this fantastic cart system which actually works off a kid's hoverboard. That is a genius move.
You having a go, Colin?
Oh yes.
This one's for you. There's nothing here to rely on you.
And here we are in Tunnel Dave's tunnel. Obviously different to mine, but it's just as cool.
Even Tom had a go on the car, but his experience was different.
Won't even move. Yank it. That's it, go.
Alright Tom, I'm coming back. Are you?
I'm not.
What are you doing? Go.
I'm back.
So after talking to Dave with 50% of my underwear on show, tunnelling is tunnelling. Now Dave's ground is a lot easier and a lot softer to dig than mine, but obviously having access via a well means water is never that far away, and which means damp and mould can be a bit more of an issue. Now the grand plan is to tunnel from the bunker near the well across to a new basement he's going to build behind his house. But Dave is not tunnelling across at the moment, no.
So at the minute, he's digging up to the surface because it's the Great Escape anniversary, I think next week, or the 80th anniversary. So he's kind of, to celebrate that, he's digging up to the surface, making like a little temporary vent thing. But as he's found out, digging up is a lot harder than digging down or across, because it all falls on your head.
So, digging up to the surface, breaking out, Great Escape style, sign me up. So, on the way back to see Dave, I've made a rookie mistake. I stopped off and got myself an Indian Cayman on the way, give myself a little bit of bad guts. When I got there,
Oh, Tunnel Dave, I've done a poo in your house and it probably smells, but it don't matter, I've left the bathroom window open. I like to make good first impressions.
Literally only the second time you've met this guy, Colin, come on. So to make our escape and get to the surface, we've got to go through about 6 to 8 foot of dirt. And as I know, digging up is so much more harder. It all drops in your face. You kind of need to do it without looking what you're doing. You just got to keep going. Dave's making a fine job of this.
We can smell freedom, people. We can see the roots of the grass above us. Very nearly there now. Oh yeah, look at that, that's definitely room. He didn't think you'd see the lawn from underneath. Get us take a drill through so we can see where we are. Oh, that felt good. Yeah. We're through.
And then, just like in the film, Dave got some grass down.
That's it, we've got grass now.
We got grass. It's time to escape.
With the searchlight scanning, we were ready to escape. We had our civilian clothes on, we had our suitcases. Come on, boys, let's go. First off, Dave squeezed up and pushed his spade through the surface. He then pushed up, broke the turf, broke the surface, and had a good look round. And then, of course, he realised we were 20 foot short of his house, but we knew that.
I've got your suitcase.
Right, it's all clear up there.
Have you been up?
Yeah, I've had a quick look.
They are. We're escaping.
Dave then pushed his suitcase through and escaped to the safety of his own garden. Dave was out. It was now my turn.
Coming first, great escape. Here we go. Got my arm stuck. I think the case is too big.
My case is too big. This totally sums up my great escape.
Go get me case out. Right, come on, suitcase. Get out of the way, Colin. You're in the way. A minute. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Now, I apologise to the claustrophobic people. This does look a lot worse on camera, but it still was a pretty tight fit.
Okay. Okay. Where's this space? Try again. Oh, God. You might have to go and ask the Germans to go and push it back down again. The Germans have come. I can't use that, can I?
So my escape wasn't going too well. Back in 1944, I'm not sure I could have asked the Germans for help in getting my suitcase out.
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm going to go back down out of the way. Das ist good. Go on then, John. What's German for John? Achtung! Oh! Case. Welcome to the tunnelling side of YouTube. Dave's so happy he's escaped. Back in.
Come to rescue Colin.
Come to rescue. Let's go for it again. What? Oh, that's no good. Right, will that go, do you think, if I give it a good shove? Go on. That's got to be close. Get the feeling that they didn't make this much noise in 1944. Right, you ready? I don't think they asked the Germans for help, neither did they, getting their suitcases out. I will take this kitchen sink. I'm going to need a shower when I get home, ain't I?
Then, with one final piece of turf removed, it was ready for the final push.
Here we go. Steve McQueen.
It was through at last.
Where's the... Oh, you've got the spade, didn't you?
So with yet more help from my German friend, I could finally escape. out. And now with the power of editing, I will make it look like a seamless exercise.
We're escaping. Here we go.
Thank you very much, Tunnel Dave, for inviting me on that. That was absolutely fantastic. Really puts into perspective as well the amount of effort that the boys went to in 1944 to get out of that camp and just support their tunnel with just bits of bed slats and whatever they could find around the camp. Absolutely amazing. Now, I've linked Tunnel Dave's channel in the description so you can go and check his tunnel progress out and his project. That's ongoing. Of course, I'm just doing a little project at the minute just to get out from getting out from the ground, So that will be uploaded on this channel as soon as it's finished. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe, and then of course I'm back on my secret garage. Boom. Everything is good, people. See you in the next one. Couldn't find a tennis ball. I've literally got this. That's very poor, Colin. Okay, now when it comes to doorbell systems, old Furs is right up there with the best. The Colin Furs doorbell system!
We've got the house, we've got the shed, and we've got the bunker.
Doesn't matter where I am within my property, I will hear my doorbell. But of course there is a flip side to this. What if someone comes to the door I don't want to speak to, or generally I'm just not interested in? Well, this is a situation I've got to deal with. And also, I've been reading comments saying, Colin, you should design stuff for the military. You're pretty good at doing things like that. So, let's combine these scenarios. Someone's at the door that we don't want to speak to, and you make crazy stuff. Here we are. Guys at Airsoft World, give me this AK. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a system. Somebody rings the doorbell. Check the old CCTV. No, not speaking to you today. Ooh. Be gone with you. Yes. Now, of course, this is purely a hypothetical situation. I'm doing this for entertainment purposes only, hence why we're not using a real gun. But there we are. Let's get on it.
I might have made mistakes in my life, but I never met no one. Seems the hate in my face is flowing too fast, and it will soon reach my heart. Yeah, you don't know what I see through the
that's mounted my airsoft AK. I've wired it up one of these little garage door remote switches that you can get off eBay. Next job now is to kind of hide it in something, because you're not gonna walk up to anyone's house that you can see that pointing at the front doorstep. So I'm thinking we'll stick it in like a plant pot, so it raises up out the plant pot, and then bang! Unwanted caller. Oh, my leg. That stung. Yes. Now, fortunately, I had one of these in my loft, or attic, as you Americans call it. Looks like we have our first victim. Salesman? Ha! No! Excellent! Now, if you want to see more ridiculous inventions, there's 2 clickable links in the outro. But for now, subscribe. This is the Colin First channel. Boom! Okay, so I think we should make ourselves some sort of arm-mounted hydraulic chlorine crushy choppy thingy.
Right, I suppose we should do some CAD then, Colin.
Now on this channel, CAD means cardboard aided design. So we've got some cardboard, Stanley knife, really rubbish scissors. Oh, glue gun, Colin. With all these professional tools you've got and you're resorting to a glue gun? What are we doing here then, Furs? I'm going to hold something, I want to slide my hand into it, grab the toilet roll, and then around my hand, with various bits of metal, hydraulic cylinder underneath, push a button probably on the end of the toilet roll. Kind of like a Jaws of Life, only they tend to open or crush. I don't know really, I suppose they do both, don't they? And then see how we get on. By the time I finish, it'll probably be so heavy I won't be able to lift my arm up. Let's start chopping and cutting.
It's like the New York skyline. It's up and down but beautiful at the same time. I don't think you get the gravity of the situation. It's the first time we go down since your revelation. 2 years, we're both single in this.
Here we are, it's like a fish. Now we've got all this support around here, because obviously when the hydraulic ram, which is going to attach under here, pushes it shut, it's going to, if there's anything in it, rather than crushing it, it's going to want to push this apart, want to crush all this. So this is kind of there for reinforcement. I'll try and make it look a bit more streamlined and a bit better than that, like it is like a rah-rah, like a kind of a Pac-Man weird fishy thing. But there we are. Right, so now what I'm going to do, draw this on the computer, we'll cut it out on the plasma cutter, start welding it together and see what happens.
is it going to work? Now, if you're new here and wondering what I've just connected to under the bench, there's a hydraulic pump set up under there. There's a link, I'll stick a link at the end of the video so you can go and see how that has been installed. Now, we've not got a sharp edge on it yet, so... Beautiful. That bit's just broke. Well, good job you never had your arm in it. Oh, of course, yeah, that's only swinging off that bit, isn't it? Oh. Yeah, you're going to strengthen that up a bit first. They are, this first test, yeah. You would have crushed my arm if I'd had it in there. You're not finished yet, Colin. Okay, I finally got there with the old strength and reinforcing. We tried putting some extra plates on here, that still didn't do it. Put this extra one along the bottom here, that still didn't do it. So I've had to give in and put a cross brace across here. I didn't really want to do that for some reason. I wanted it all to be strength in the top there. But of course, we've got like 4 tons of pushing strength. You know, that was never going to take 4 tons of pushing strength without it collapsing. So if I get a bit of wood, we now have a chopping machine. I've also sharpened this bit up a little bit, which is nice. So if I put this in here, look. Oh, you just cut it! And it goes again. Oh, it just cuts it up. Yee! Now, the only problem we've got now, of course, is I am connected to the hydraulic system under my bench. So I cannot go anywhere other than in here, or however long my hydraulic hoses are. So, what I think we should do is put a pump in a backpack. I think this is going to add a few kilos onto my body mass, isn't it? Appears not to be leaking. You can see on the little 3D printed thing there's that O-ring that went round the outside of it. Give it a wipe up, usual hydraulics, blooming oil everywhere. Now I've installed a switch into the handle. I've got these wonderful short cables, so let's connect the battery up. I'm going to do this, here we are. Oh. Right, how hot are the cables getting? No, not too bad. I think all we've got to do now is stick this on my back, put this on my arm, and I've got an arm-mounted hydraulic snipper. For what? I don't know, but who doesn't want one of those? Right. Yes. Oh, put your hand there, staring. Right then, what have we got? Now, of course, we've got a thin bit of wood. Bit of wood, not a problem. Right, what about a thicker bit of wood? 3x2. kind of. Okay, so as a wood cruncher, this thing is fantastic, and the fact it's mobile means I can crunch wood anywhere. But there are improvements to be made, because we want to be able to destroy anything. And if I try and chop some bits of metal, look, it basically just crushes it, which is very nice. Now this is not what we want to be able to chop through stuff. So, I made a different set of jaws which work a bit like the guillotines. They slice rather than try and snip, and work pretty well on soft metals, but on harder metals, the whole thing just splits apart, and there's basically too much slack in this area, so we need to beef that up. Okay, as a first attempt, I'm pretty pleased with this. It looks awesome, and it's a great example of cardboard aided design. But we need to beef up this hinge system. I think it'd be quite nice to have a bigger hydraulic cylinder, so we've actually got a little bit more power. I'd like to make it a bit lighter if I can, because it's pretty heavy at the moment. Then I think once I'm happy with the design, I'm going to get Alex Steele, YouTube's resident blacksmith, him and Will, to whip me up some nice hardened, proper steel, strong jaws and teeth for it. So, that'll be coming up soon. Subscribe, you don't want to miss that. And then next week, I don't even know how to explain what we're doing next week. It involves a pulse jet and a JCB. Yeah, stay tuned, stay tuned. Consuela, give us a push.
No, me no push, no.
Just a little one.
No, me no push.
In a normal town, take that Lincolnshire! On a normal street, in a normal house, in a normal garden, in a normal shed. Not everything is normal. Right there, under my garden, I have dug an underground bunker, and the entrance is in here.
Wake up to the sky, wake up, wonder why.
Oh yes.
I can see it in their eyes, they think it's all lies. I need a trick, I need action, can't stand it, nothing happens. These thoughts are killing me, these thoughts are healing me.
How cool is that?
Fight without pride, I'll fight to reach wealth.
Oh, we got lovely art ceilings, because you know, I'm 3 metres under the ground. I want to feel like I'm underground and not just in a metal box. Let's go and have a look at the main room.
London. And why? Because I was asked, what would you do if the world was going to end in 34 days? I said, I'd make a bunker, which is basically mean digging through solid rock, turning my garden into a quarry, welding tons of steel and pouring buckets of concrete. Until we've got this. So then, give you a tour. So, kitchen area, cutlery, knives and forks, that's all up here. Down here we've got all the food and stuff. Tin food, dried food, anything that doesn't go off, doesn't go out of date. And to cook it, we've got a microwave, or of course in my case a freezer wave, should you want to freeze stuff, which you probably won't. Water, we've got mains water fed from outside, but of course should that fail, we've got plenty of stored water up here. Now the waste is dealt with quite coolly. It goes underneath here into a macerating unit, which is behind the toilet system, and then it's all pumped up outside. Now the toilet, of course, is it's not very private, but you know, it's the end of the world, it doesn't really matter. Good air in, bad air out. Sleeping arrangements, I've got me ejector bed, which I'll admit is not quite so effective down here. I've got gas mask, of course, for the inevitable, and as this bunker is heavily reliant on electricity, should mains power fail from above, we've got a generator down here and we've got another backup one in the shed. Now then, natural disaster might not be the only thing that brings on the end of the world. Humanity might go nuts, so we need to protect against that as well. So I've got these. We've got Wolverine gloves. If you want to be a little bit more stealth, the Assassin's Creed hidden blade. Now we've got these two wonderful items, you'll find out what they are in future videos, but what if we've got some crazies trying to bash the door in? Well, with this little remote control, push this button. Oh yes, job done, they're all taken out. Now, I've also got the cat bowl down here, because a shaven cat is somewhere. Because let's face it, you've got an underground bunker, there's just some things that you have to have. Now at the moment, we're not in an apocalyptic situation, so this is basically currently the ultimate man cave, which is why we've got this lot. You've got a massive flat screen TV, we've got surround sound which has been built into the metalwork so there is no cables dangling anywhere. Under here we've got all sorts of game consoles ranging back from the 90s up to present day. Of course we've got a skybox, and because you can make all the noise you want down here and no one can hear you, we've got a drum kit. And there we have the Colin Firth's apocalyptic bunker project. Now the most surprising thing, other than the fact that I'm sat underneath my lawn, is it actually looks remarkably like the plan I drew all those months ago. Now, this is not the last thing you'll see of the apocalyptic bunker on the Colin Firth channel. In future videos I'd like to look at making an air filtration system and also different ways of generating power other than using petrol generators. We should also thank Sky One's You, Me and the Apocalypse programme, because it was them that funded this and made this all possible. But for now, I think I'm deserved a well-earned cup of tea. Woo! That was a long project. So, to see the programme trailer that sparked all this off, click up here. If you want to see how this whole thing was built from start to finish, on the playlist up here. And there we are! The Colin Firth's apocalyptic bunker project is finally finished. Subscribe! And click on the button! Colin Firth's channel is at 5 million subscribers, so I've made this! A bicycle that will launch 1,000 rockets! Let's get it loaded up! Look at that! Not sure how good an idea this was now I'm looking at it. How much heavy? Oh, this is interesting. Let's light her up! Oh, I need my safety gear. Safety precaution. Got my sponge man, put a bit of tape on the back, just fix him off.
Well, there we are, just gotta wait for it to get dark now. $5 million subscribers, 1,000 rocket bike. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Was awesome! Thank you very much, YouTube. Here's the 6 mil. Woohoo! Now, this was one of my more popular projects, so I thought I'd do an extra video with some of the questions that you've been putting in the comments answered, and also there's some extra footage I've got of the testing and various bits and bobs, and also we did make a couple of changes to it while I was going through the process, which happened off camera. So, thought I'd show you. Now, to get the lid off, first you have to take the seat off. Now, this is the original seat, which we've reupholstered, and to hold it on, Rick's come up with an ingenious idea. It's held on with a bungee strap. Simple, but effective. Right, let's take this bit out. Now the tub's only actually held in with 4 bolts, so we're going to whip them out, and they're just down here. There's none at the front. Put captive nuts on them all, you know, got to think ahead. Disconnect the lights. And then with a little bit of jiggering and wiggling around, it does come off. There we go, and then off it comes.
Emotions are taking over. I've come to realize I've got no control. I can't take them anymore.
Now the tub, you didn't really see much of this. We was quite lucky, and there's like a metal ring which runs all the way around the base of it, and we could cut into that and weld our tags onto it to fix it down onto the frame. But also we've used that for the earth, for the lights. So all the lights got wired up, and then we just like kind of put a bolt through that little bit of metal, and then when that bolt's
back onto the chassis. That kind of connects the earth up. Now the only thing we did have to do, we had to cut a little bit out in the corners here, because like the wheels are as far apart as we could possibly get them, so we had to just shave a little bit out. So we had to cut that metal ring here, but that didn't matter, it's all good. And that's that. Right, start at the front. Steering system, absolutely fantastic, would not change that at all, spot on. Now this little gaggle of wires and stuff, this is basically the front of the loom off the motorbike. The only thing extra we had to do with this, we had to stick it in a bag, because we did take this out in the wet once, and that got all full of water, and that kind of didn't really like that. And then there's this little scoopy bit here. This basically helps the air come through that little nose at the front of the Dodgem, and then it kind of helps it up into the radiator, because we did boil it up a couple of times, but that was mainly down to us like thrashing the nuts off it, like bouncing it off the rev limiter a little bit too much. Generally it got warm, but it did cool pretty well. One thing that did change was the brakes. Originally I wanted to use the front brake lever and master cylinder off the motorbike, but because I'm using a go-kart rear caliper, they require a lot more fluid to activate them. So you'd pull it in and you had to like pump the hell out of it to get it to like squeeze it all the way back. I mean, it did work, but I could hardly say to old Sticky Boy, so your brakes will work at 100 miles an hour, but only on the 8th pull. So, the solution was just a simple foot brake on the actual master cylinder thing that come with the go-kart. And you look at this now and you think, why didn't I just do that to start with? Well, it was kind of, I didn't think I had enough room for this, because when we first started to put it all together, it was kind of like thinking that your foot would have to be somewhere down here. But yeah, brakes work pretty well, which is a bit strange really, because most of my machines, the brakes are absolutely terrible. Now under here is the petrol tank. And if you're wondering why it's got Rick's mum's shower cap on it, which I can say she's fine with,
It's alright.
it's because at speed we found that whatever air pressure was going on, it was dragging fuel out of the vent, and everything around here was just getting covered in petrol, and then was getting loads of muck stuck to it. And I don't like that. So we put that on, job solved. This little frame down here is where you stick the pole, which of course we had. But there was something I set up which never actually got used in the video. At the end of the pole there's a little bit of cable, and if we shove this down here, so there's a wire connected up to the horn switch, so when you switch the horn, it sets off a small pyro, which sets off a sparkler, so you've got your pole all sparking, and it'll look like you've just nicked it off the fair. But in the daytime it just looked rubbish, it gave off a bit of smoke and you couldn't really see the sparks, so we never bothered doing it. But it's got it! Flipped it up on its side, so you can see everything, looks pretty cool. But we put these little skid plates on the corner here, because when you want to turn a corner, you know, anything above like 10 or 15 mile an hour, like a Robin Reliant, it just wants to kind of pitch in the corners, and then if it was to go down too deep and hit the tyre, and then that would grip up and you'd got sent into a woo-ha of an accident. So we've put them on there to try and stop that. But the thing I've noticed now I've lifted it up is the amount of damage that's been done from all the gravel and the grit off the airfields. It's like the whole thing has been shot blasted. Wait, what? I took so much time and effort painting it and making it look shiny. Look what it's done! It's not acceptable, RAF bases. Eh? You need some road sweepers. So everything really is absolutely brilliant on this. Rear axle fine, the tyres are fine, the electrics are all good, seating position, everything like that was all pretty spot on. One thing I would like to do though is to get it on a dyno, because with the exhaust system we've got and the airbox the way it is, I don't think it's running its absolute best. It could do with jetting and maybe a little bit of fiddling around. It could do with some silencers on the exhaust really, but of course naturally you just want this thing to be as loud as possible, because you know I like that. But the problem we've got is I think the wheels are too far apart to go on a bike dyno, but obviously not far enough apart to go on a car dyno. So if there's any system out there that can take this, then you know, maybe drop me a message and it could potentially go even faster. So first test, it was like completely bare, there was no tyre, wasn't even a seat, I just had a bit of plywood clamped to the back of the frame, and I do wear helmets for the test, only this time I forgot to actually do it up. Duh. But with that all sorted, it performed really well, it was good, nothing fell off it, never crashed it.
shakedown over. Park firm, eh?
Pass test, just wants different gearing. So, did a few calculations, changed the gearing, took it back up again for a second run, this time with the tyre around it. So, gearing sorted, comfort's still an issue, but it doesn't matter because it's just a test. Next problem we've got is the runway that I'm using is too short and it's too bumpy. But the old BBC boys convinced the RF base up the road to let us have a go on that. Nice long runway, nice and smooth. Boom, give it some welly. Adds up to another Guinness World Record! And I'm really pleased with this one. I do look at the Dodge and I think, first, you made a smashing job of that, and that's all good. But anyway, see you on the next project, people. Furs out. Right, you can look into it. Yeah? No, come here. Right, stand here. Yeah, and you go, 100 miles an hour!
100 miles an hour?
Yeah!
Well done, Jay.
What if instead of tyres, you had like legs and shoes? Hello there, Internet. So it's that time of year again. It's the last video of the year. It's YouTube Baker's Secret Santa, and this year we have 12 wonderful creators all making for each other in secret. Now, this year I've drawn Mr. James Bruton, Mr. 3D printing robotics man himself, and I kind of thought, what am I going to make this fella then? Because we've worked with each other before. We made an Alexa operated flamethrower, a bed shaker, and of course he helped me on the Hulkbuster to do all the controls. Excellent. Now then, just lately he's been making some quite funky little like devices, like little motion devices, strange wheels, you know, ways of moving. And he's done this one thing which is like a wheel with all little pegs and feet and stuff all over it. And I kind of thought, I wonder if James would like to experience that in bigger form, you know, to see if this would work, you know, with his weight on it. So that's what we're going to do. We're basically going to make one big enough to fit in a bike and see if it works. Okay, now for James to be happy with this, I think we try and have to use as many computer and CNC machines as possible. So our laser cutter, CNC plasma cutter, 3D printer. Oh yeah, we're going to smash the hell out of them. Right, so this is the thing. He's called it a 4-wheel drive walking wheel crawler vehicle. And it's basically like a load of little feet, with a load of bearings and stuff shoved on some very strange axle. And then when you put them all together and stick them on a vehicle, it kind of like steps and rolls and plonks over things. And they've actually got the thing off an old patent, and it goes like the bottom feet always stay flat, and then they kind of all clip clop and flip flop over. Now, of course, in plastic and lightweight, it works quite well. I don't know what it's going to work when it gets big and heavy. And it's got a human's weight bearing down on it. Right, first thing I think we should do is laser cut some real big disc thing and try and work out how to do all the little legs. Yeah, something like that, Colin, something like that. Okay, that's got myself a circle with some holes in it, because what I'm thinking, we'll use these for legs, they'll sit there. I've got these little shims which will go either side of it, and then they can move up and down. Now, if you're wondering where I've got the scale and everything from, James actually does offer downloadable CAD files. Only I went to do that and it just come up as a load of text, and I missed a lo-fi here. I was like, I don't know what to do with that. So instead, I screenshotted a picture of it, overlaid it in Fusion, and then kind of just drew around it. So this is roughly right. We can't just have them sliding up and down like that because they'll jam up. You know, in plastic and in small, that's fine, but in big, with big old humans on it, not going to work. So I'm thinking if we get some bearings either side, so then I cut some more little bits with extra holes in, they can sit there. We'll bolt the bearings down through there, either side of it, and then it can slide up and down. Yeah, so now I need to do that all the way across there. Make loads of shims, give some little spaces for them. That's a lot of laser cutting, that is, Colin. Now, that's a lot of stuff. Now, there is a budget for these projects of £75, and some of you look at that and go, Colin, those bearings must have cost you more than that. And yes, they would have. But I rang Simply Bearings up, I told them about Jimmy B, and they said, oh, you can have them for Note Boy. Right, let's put it all together. Yeah, it's actually surprisingly solid as well. Not too heavy. Bits of aluminium. They go in nice and freely. You can tell they're up against the bearings. That is a good thing, Colin. Okay, I've got to make all these legs. Now, basically, it needs a bearing on the end, which kind of sits on this central hub thing, which we're going to have to do. And then on the end of it, have some pads. But I'm not going to put some pads. I'm going to personalise it more to James. I'm going to put shoes on the end. And on the end of the shoes, I'm going to put boots. So it's the Booten. It's the James Booten wheel. Yes!
When the walls of your world come tumbling down, and you're left staring at the hole that exists now, the void that consumes your soul.
Right, got some legs. Now, of course, I've had to make 14 of these. Now, to put the slit across there, 3D printed a little jig out so it could sit in the bandsaw, hold it at the right place, stop it, cut it, very nice. Then, to do this bit down the top here, made another jig. I put it in the bandsaw, it holds it in the right place, it comes down, it cuts it. Ooh, very nice. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a James Bruton project if we didn't have some 3D printers. So I've got 2 new 3D printers going, printing all the feet out. And then, of course, I've CNC plasma cut all these brackets. We've put them all together, and this is what we've got. Now, before I slide it into there, I want to sort the hub out in the middle, because I need to do that first. I've added the feet. I don't think it's as good with the feet. When they go flat on the floor, it does look pretty cool. However, they don't always do that. They sometimes flick back, and I think we've got a lot of extra joints that we don't actually need, and it definitely is not going to fit in a bike in this. So what I'm thinking, we can do away with all these feet and just get these little boots, which I've got for the booting, and actually just put them straight on the end, like that. I'm going to sort all the front of this out. I think we want some elastic that goes around and that pulls all these in so you don't get ones floating around in the middle of nowhere, and then stick it in a bike, and then we'll see if it actually works as a wheel. The J. Booten wheel, made above ground. I feel I have to point that out these days. Okay, got it in the bike. Now, I did have to extend the fork because it wouldn't quite fit in. But of course, the question is, Colin, does it actually work? Well, it goes round, but I've had to make a new central piece because basically when it started spinning around, the bearings were digging into the 3D printing and starting to crack it. So I've made another one, which is a metal plate with a plywood base behind it. And this is a lot better. Now at the moment I've got a bit of bungee cord around the outside which pulls the legs towards the central hub, and if you film it in slow motion you can see this in action. Now I have run it where the cord actually pulls it away from the central hub, which is how I had it before. That's probably why the 3D printed broke, because you can see there's only 1 or 2 feet poking up in the middle. Now, how do you cope with bumps? Because that's one of the things that you're supposed to be sort of good at.
Okay, now I basically just rode straight at the pallet and you can kind of see what this thing is designed to do. Basically, when you hit an obstacle, this centre thing is supposed to be pushed up by the legs and to face it, so then you have full flat feet going towards the obstacle. Now, of course, to get this working perfectly, you have to fine tune the shape of this. The length of the legs, I think mine could be a bit short, make them a bit longer. But I think if I was going to make it again, I'd probably enclose all this, make the whole thing out of steel so it's a bit stronger. But other than that, it's an interesting theory, an interesting idea. Right, let's get it off to James, go and leave it on his doorstep, and then of course I've got a Secret Santa present which I've got open that's been sent to me. Whether you're a novice, a DIY expert, or a fabrication master, we all love a good hack and a tip. So here is 12 minutes of solid hacks and tips. Okay, quick one to start with. You've got a tiny little bit of metal that you want to grind up. It's a little bit too small to hold. You put it on your workbench, you go to grind it, it flicks around everywhere. Get yourself a small bit of carpet, put it on the workbench. Oh, no slidey slidey, grippy grippy. We all stack step ladders up against the wall like this. Wrong, they're designed to go flat up against the wall. You can even pull them off a bit and they'll still fall back. Now if you've got a little bit of microboard pipe like this, it's all twisted and you want to straighten it out, get a bit of wood, drill a hole in it slightly bigger than the pipe, pull it through, that will get rid of all the worst stuff. It's also quite a good method. If you're taking it off the coil, pull it straight through, it straightens it out a little bit better. Then to get rid of the tiny bumps, get a bit of wood, lay your bit of pipe on, lay another bit of wood on it, stand on it, put as much weight as you can, wriggle it, back and forth until you feel it getting smooth, 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 take it out and it'll be a lot straighter. Okay, so you want to make a cone either out of metal, paper or whatever material you like. You need to unfold it to make a template. Now there are various calculators online which will tell you how to draw this, and of course if you've got a CAD program you can do it in that. But there is a manual way too. So we want to make a cone with 100mm diameter at the top, 200mm diameter at the bottom, 150mm spaced apart. Get a 100mm circle, get a 200mm circle, screw a piece of wood in the middle so you've got your 150 apart. You've got yourself a little template of your said cone. Then mark a start point on here, place it on a piece of paper, mark the start point, roll it round one revolution until you get back to your start again. Do this on the top and bottom cone, marking the path on the paper where it rolled. Join the two ends together, you've got your cone. But there's more. This works even if it's offset. Now this is fantastic because the online calculators cannot deal with offset cones. And even better still, you can even do differing shapes as well. Square at the top, round at the bottom. Takes a little bit of experimentation, but it still works. Job done. Now if you've got really dirty hands and you've only got washing up liquid or a bar of soap, it doesn't quite get it all off, does it? Well, add a bit of sugar to your hands, it acts like an abrasive, dissolves fully, washes it off good, boom! Okay, so you've got a hole that you want to make bigger. Now, of course, you could just use a bigger drill bit, but if you're in plastic or thinner sheet, bigger drill bits don't always make the best of job. Now, in that scenario, you could use a step drill. They're a little bit more sympathetic to the material. But what if it's a really big hole? These things only normally go up to about 30mm. Find a hole saw that is closest to the hole that you want to make bigger. Then, if you've got one of these arbors that has a bit of thread that sticks out even when you've got a hole saw on, you can screw this one into the middle, on top of it, double stacked, you've got yourself a centering device. Stick it in there, drill it out. Oh, yes. That's a dolphin. That's not right. If you want to find the centre of a circle and you've got one of these tools, push it up against the side, make a couple of little marks. That is the centre of your circle. But what if you don't have one of these fine things? Well, you screw it. Get yourself a ruler, draw a line that's easily divided by 2. Let's say 28. Make a line, and of course the middle of that is 14. Get yourself a square straight edge, put that along and against it at your mark at 14. Draw a line. Repeat a few times around the perimeter. There's the centre of your circle. Fantastic method, other than the fact you've got lines all over it now. So you know when you start a loo roll and you realise you've only got one of the two plies start to unravel? Okay, so you want to drill a hole through something, but you want to take out all of the human anomalies that we add in. Now, if you've got a pillar drill, you're sorted. But if you haven't, now, I've seen people draw lines with squares on a bit of wood, and then you use that as a guide to kind of line your drill bit up. Very nice, that's a cheap and easy way of doing it, but if you want to be flash,
you get yourself one of these. These are drill bit guides, basically full of different holes, all the drill bit sizes. So you clamp it on, and of course when you drill through it, it holds the drill at 90 degrees, completely parallel to your workpiece. And as well as it working on flat bar, if you turn it round, it's V'd, so it works on tube as well. Brilliant. You're using your aerosol can, but you've run out of pressure, but you know you've still got a bit of product in there. Pull the lid off, get your airline, make the best seal you can, push it down, and pressurise it up. Put the lid back on. Oh yeah, works on WD-40, paint, any aerosol can. So, for some reason, like building a flame tube for a homemade jet engine, you want to put multiple holes round a tube equally distant spaced apart. Get yourself a piece of paper or something flexible, wrap it around the tube, where the two bits cross, make a little mark, then measure the distance from your line to the edge of the piece of the paper, and then divide that by the number of holes you wish to drill. Make the marks at the appropriate position, then wrap the piece of paper back around the pipe, and then mark where all your marks are, and then drill them up. Boom. Also, while wrapping a piece of paper around a bit of tube, as they come round to overlap, make sure them edges are perfectly parallel, then you know you've got a nice straight line around the tube. Now, if you want your tea to taste absolute best, you need it from a Colin Furze mug, and it's very fortunate. There is a sale on at the moment at thecolinfurzeshop.com, 30% off everything. Now, if you want to find the middle of this, but it's a funny size or your mass isn't that good, tilt your ruler till you get to a number that you do know how to divide into two, make a mark, it's still the middle. Okay, you've got two plastic tubs. You can't pull them apart. Get the airline, put it between them. Oh! Now, if you want to notch a bit of tube, and by that I mean like cut the end beautifully so it intersects perfectly with another piece of pipe, you should get yourself a tube notcher. But if you don't do a lot of tube notching, you don't want to spend the money, there is another way. Find two bits of wood as close to the diameter as your tube as possible. Fix to a board, place the tube down, and then sandwich the tube in between the two pieces of wood. Move the tube backwards slightly so it's not at the end, and then to stop it spinning, either fix with some screws or clamp down, however you feel necessarily fit. Place a board on the top and mark the centre, then draw a line across this board marking that centre line. Find a hole saw the same diameter as the tube, and then drill through this top board with the hole saw close to the edge but not on the edge. Now, the point of this board is to hold the hole saw in position while we drill through the tube. And if we're drilling at 90 degrees, we kind of want to get the edges of the hole lined up to the edges of the tube. Now, as we're using the same type hole saw, that's pretty much halfway. But you can be creative. You can go off to the side if you want, or you can do partial, funny angles. If your tube's intersecting in different things, you'll know what to do, you'll know where to put it. Right, let's fix it down. You might want to take the pilot bit out. It's up to you. Go. Perfectly notched pipe. There we are. Fantastic. Fits lovely. And of course, if you do it off to the side, you end up with a little recess, plonk a bit of tube in. It's just a good all-round method. Now, if you want to draw a straight line on a pipe, most of us just kind of wedge our hand up against it and drag it down. It's not bad, but it ain't perfect. For that, shove a bit of angle iron on it. If you can't find your set square, or you haven't got one, but you do have a saw, some saw handles, this is a set square. Now, to turn your template into cones, you get your slip roller and you offset the rear roll. So basically you tighten one side up and slacken the other side off so it's on the wonk, because this radius needs to be a lot tighter than this radius. Now, before I knew of this method, you would stick it in the slip roller, probably from the other side, but the camera's in the way. You would turn it, and then I would kind of like wonk it round a bit, turn it, wonk it round a bit, turn it, wonk it round a bit. And this works all very well, but sometimes on bigger cones and thicker stuff, it's difficult. Wow! All you need to do is this. Place your template where you want to roll. Measure the distance between the template and the side of the slip roll. Cut and slot a piece of angle iron in, and then feed your template in it and watch it go to work. The template slides itself round, making for an absolutely fantastic even roll. And for your next passes, just close in the rear roll and repeat. And it works on all sizes of slip rolls too. Lovely. Now this method was mentioned to me in a comment when I was slip rolling on a previous video. I couldn't find anything online about it and I didn't know what it meant. And then in the next project you'll see, I was looking down and all of a sudden I just saw exactly where to put the piece of angle on and what it was going to do, and that was it. Completely changed the way I slip roll now. So if there's any other methods that you guys know that aren't in this video and you want me to include, stick them in the comments because we can all learn from it. How do you know when a square is a square? So the best way to check for squariness is to measure from corner to corner. So from this corner to this corner, 2, 4, 6. And if it's a square, this one should be the same, 2, 4, 6. It's a square. And if you draw a line from corner to corner, where they cross, that's the centre. Now there's a few things that will get Sharpie off, like coconut oil, but like me, you probably don't have any coconut oil lying around in your workshop, but you will have a Sharpie. And the best way to get Sharpie off is to go over it with Sharpie, and then you can rub it off. And there we go, 18 tips, some of which I knew of before, some of which I've seen online, and some of which have come from you guys. Now, if there's any other tips you know, stick them in the comments. There's got to be some old timers out there that know some absolute classic ones. And my channel members have actually given me some really good workshop tips and tool tips. If you want to become a channel member, you can influence future videos. Click the join button because they've actually named the next project, which is coming out very soon. I'm taking pizza delivery and preparation into a whole new world. But I know what you're all thinking. What's happening with this? Well, by the time you're watching this, work would have started on the next phase, but fear not, the tunnel is still here, it's still going very strong, nothing's happened, it's not collapsed, we've had no leaks, we've had no floods, we've had nothing, it is still as beautiful as it ever has been. But yes, it will start. Sorry it's been delayed, there's been things to prepare and stuff like that, but we're on it now. Subscribe, I'll see you soon. Now because this thing is electric, it means I can go places a petrol engine would be frowned upon, such as on the pavement to the shop. Or even in the shop. Now this project is sponsored by Formula E, and of course they have the most advanced electric cars in the world. But this thing's not so simple itself. It's not just a battery and a motor. We can plug a laptop into the speed controller, and we can alter the throttle curves, the voltage we put into it, the amount of amps we draw out the battery, all sorts of things. But I know what you're thinking, how fast does it go? Okay, 48 volts. How fast is this going to go?
drift sleep. Sod it. Okay, I know how fast it goes. I've smashed all my drift plates up, but I was thinking, if this is sponsored by Formula E, can I go on one of their street circuits? I think you can, Colin. You might need to wear a helmet though. Batteries are dead. Okay, so then, Formula E lap time, 1 minute 30. Colin Furr's lap time, 4 minutes 30. But that's not too bad considering I've got a top speed of around 50 mile an hour and I got no brakes. Now, thank you very much to Formula E for sponsoring this video and to sending me to Rome. I had a lot of fun putting my drift trike back together in my hotel room, then trying to get it in the lift. If you want to check out Formula E, it is a great racing series. There's a link at the end of the video to their YouTube channel where you can see all of the previous races and all the current races streamed live. It's all free, no pay-per-view. It's good racing. Go and have a butcher's. Now, as far as my electric drift trike's concerned, a lot of people want to know what motors and etc. I'm using. Go on my website, there is a page where you can find all this information. That is linked in the description as well. And we're actually only running this motor at half its capacity. We can put twice the amount of volts in it and twice the amount of amps in it. So, this makes me think, what else can we electrify? Ideas in the comments, then click the subscribe button, flick the old notifications on, boom! I'll see you in the next project, because you ain't going to want to miss that, are you? No! It's electric! It's electric fuzz boom. This is my Toyota pickup. Now, this is like the UK version of the one that was used in the film. Now, this is nearly 40 years old itself. I've owned it for 20 years. It has had a tough life. Early channel watchers will know this featured highly in my videos. It transported all the pallets for the Wall of Death. It's had fires lit in the back of it. It's had pulse jets run in the back of it. This thing is literally my favourite vehicle of all time, but it does need a little bit of work, which it will get done. But I don't want to rebuild 1985. I want that to influence and we reimagine it. This, 2025.
Okay, this is a Mark 8. Now, in the UK, I've got what's called an extra cab. It has this little bit of kind of room behind the seats. There's like a openable door and like some small tiny seats. In the film, they had a little bit of a gap behind the seats as well. There's like a tiny little window. So it's kind of in between that and a single cab. There's also other similarities in that there's no hooking points along the bed and it's all nice and clean lines. Now, what is different between this and the old one is the scale of everything. So I've got both trucks parked along this yellow line, line the doors up with this other little bit of yellow tape, and then when we blend from one to the other, we can see how the 25 plate one has grown in every direction. The height of the windows is higher, the sills are lower, it's got longer at the front and longer at the back. Now, this is important because one of the beautiful things about the old trucks was their proportions. Side on, they look absolutely fantastic, and I want to try and mimic that as much as I can with this. So it does need lifting up a little bit, and we've just got to work to kind of make everything look a little bit thinner in the right places and potentially fatter in other places. So, while Video Colin walks around the Hilux and makes a to-do list, voiceover Colin's going to talk about what's on the to-do. Oh, here it is. Look, right, here we go. So, the rear bumper needs to be tubular. The roll hoop needs to be a roll hoop and not this horrible square thing. Side step? Nope, the McFlylux does not have a side step. Front grille needs a bull bar and some spotlights. And finally, we need some fat arches and some bigger wheels, because look at these tiny things compared to the body. But in addition to all that, I'm going to add some furs extras to make it an even more practical and usable truck. Okay, let's start with the rear bumper. Very nice, Colin. Now, what were you supposed to be doing? Oh yeah, rear bumper. Gotta go. Okay, that's gone. Right, mounting points. Drawn some plates. I've measured off the bolts where the original one went to. Now, rather than coming underneath and clamping on the bumper, there's these little holes I've noticed here. I think we can have like 2 mounts. So we can have an upper mount, which goes through there, and then maybe a lower mount, which comes through the bottom. I'm gonna do something with a tow bar, because I want a tow bar, but I don't wanna see it. Right, long bar across the bottom, and then a shorter one across the top. Just need to kind of work out what looks right with the vehicle, proportion-wise, and everything else like that. Leave it to me. So I've made myself a beautiful top bracket. Now notice the little plastic trim I've put behind the bit of metal. That's to stop any rubbing and corrosion against the bodywork. Very nice tip, Colin, very nice. I then eyed up the position of my tube, worked out the angle of which I wanted to put this little kick on the end, and then got it all clamped up on the welding table and welded it up. I then knocked the camera off its tripod and smashed the screen. Oh, that's going to cost me. Then did some tube notching. I do like a bit of tube notching. I always think you guys will look at the tube notch and think, oh, that's a clever tool. It is a clever tool. I like it. I then placed it all on the vehicle, had a good look at it, agreed with myself, and welded it all up. Okay, that is proper solid and ready for painting. Now, put some more little plastic sleeves in between this and the truck, and I've even made these little end caps. Now, these are 3D printed at the minute, but I have ordered some 80mm nylon so I can machine some solid ones up. Although, to be fair to the 3D printed, they're actually pretty strong. I'll also get some dark bolts. Now then, this is all good. The tow bar, like I said, I want a tow bar, but I don't want to see it, so I'm going to kind of have like a quick hitch arrangement. But how I get that all sorted underneath, I'm going to wait, because there's something else I might want to put under here, and I want to do that first so I don't go and put something in the way. Any mind, don't worry about it. Okay, we're about 5 or 6 minutes into a video. Normally that means talk about the sponsor a bit more, Colin. Now, one of the problems with a double cab and an extra cab is the more cab, the less bed. We're missing 400mm off a single cab model, but I know where we can get it back. Here.
So, I started off by removing the plastic cover to see what fixing points we had. But what are you actually building, Colin? So, I got sent this picture on Facebook of this little tailgate adaptation that someone had built. And it turns out you can actually buy them. But Colin's thinking, wait a minute, I don't want one that you have to put in separately. Wouldn't this be great if it folded up off the tailgate itself? So, I've cut myself out a nice little back plate with my name in, just in case I forget it. And then drilled and reamed myself some pins out for hinges. And then I bent up and added some side plates. Okay, looks promising. Let's put it on the truck.
Expect a different tact, a more sleight of hand. This time we're busy working compliments cause you're a chef. We can't wait to see the back of you. Architect is visible.
Now, it's pretty good, but it does have an issue, and that is its weight. It weighs an absolute ton. Now, the reason why I've made it out of plate is because when it folds down flat, it is that. It's nice and flat, and if you're sliding things in and out of the truck, they don't get caught and jagged on it if it was a load of bars. But it is very heavy. So I'm going to think about that. But while I do, I'm going to take them side steps off. Now, some of you are going to be wondering, why are you taking these off, Colin? I quite like them. And most people do. A lot of trucks have them. But I don't really get it. I don't want to get onto the roof. I don't have a roof rack. And when you step out the vehicle, if they're covered in mud, you touch the back of your leg and then your leg's got mud on it. And if anything, where you actually want them, down the back there, just in front of the bed, there isn't any, it stops. And also, the main reason, this vehicle is so deep and tall, it makes it look lower. So by taking these off, it'll actually make it look like it's lifted up a bit. And I like that.
So high the consultants, I got on their advice. Let disregard it because you believe.
Ah, lovely bit of sill guitaring, but this does bring me on to a question about the film. Okay, Marty McFly was born in 1968 and it's 17 years old. In 1985, he travels back to 1955. But during his 17 years on this planet, he heard the song Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry and he learnt it on his guitar. He could play it very well. Now, when he travels back in time to 1955, he plays it at his mum and dad's dance where they first kissed. It was lovely. But Marvin Berry, Chuck's brother, hears the song and thinks, wait a minute, this sounds pretty cool. I've never heard it like this before. Rings his brother Chuck and says, hey Chuck, you know that new sound you were looking for? Check this out. Chuck listens to it and thinks, hey, that's a mighty fine song. I'm going to write that. He does write it. And in 1958, he releases the song. Obviously, the song exists in all this time. Marty is born in 1968. At some point in his 17 years, he learns the song. And the cycle starts again. But who actually wrote it? Because if Marty is learning Chuck's song, which Chuck heard from Marty, which Marty heard from Chuck, nobody wrote it. It doesn't exist. It's just materialised from nothing. Make it make sense. It's only a film, Colin. Calm down. This mug just makes my tea taste better. Anyway, what's this truck look like without the sills on? Way better. Way better. I do not regret that at all. It literally looks like it's had a 2 or 3 inch lift and all I've done is took some stuff off. So, after my side step removal success story, I turned my attention to this ladder rack. Not only do we not want a ladder rack, we want a roll hoop and we want 2 of them. Now, taking a grinder to a new vehicle just felt wrong. It felt kind of wasteful, but we are here to make improvements and this is just part of the game. Now, after it had been ground off, the little bits of metal that were left over were ground down smooth and primed and painted to prevent any rust. This should be an easy job, it's just a bent bit of tube. But how much you're going to bend it, how high is it going to be, are the radiuses going to be any good? That's a tricky question. So, I got myself some wooden templates, which I offered up against the truck. Now, this was all looking okay, but if you look down the side, it kind of doesn't quite match the door line. So, 1 degree more seemed to make all the difference. So I put that up there. I'm happy with that. But I thought, there's another way I can visualise this. Onshape has its augmented reality feature, which I've spoken about. So I've kind of drawn it in the CAD, projected it on the truck, and I can look at it and think, yes, as a roll bar, that looks pretty good. But Colin still wants to see it in the real life. So, got the bamboo rocking. Made some 3D printed elbows as such, stuck it all together with some bits of tube, and then we can place that on there and actually see what it looks like. And it looks like this. pleased with that. Now, there's going to be 2 roll hoops. This first one is going to be attached to a similar piece of metal like this, which could be fixed to the truck at the 2 ends and along the end and underside of this bed section. But the second one is probably going to be easier to explain once I've done a little bit more work. So just bear with. So, I offered some plates up, had a look in places to see where I could run cables and whatnot. Plasma cut me on shaping. Oh, very artistic shot there in the reflection of the Hilux, Colin. Very nice. Then machined some nylon. Tricky stuff, this. It's nice and soft, but if you don't keep the swarf and all the offcuts tidy, they can get all wrapped up in themselves. And then, of course, I'm back on the tube notcher, and look, it does square as well. It's just such a versatile tool. Guys, you need to get one of these. Even if you don't make stuff out of metal and you're just a chef or something, buy a tube notcher, for God's sake. So then I'm welding stuff. I'm hammering the stuff I've made into the stuff I've welded up. Beautiful tight fit there, Colin. I'm bending stuff. I'm drilling stuff to the truck. I'm then welding things that I've drilled to the truck. Oh, now look. Oh, I'm hammering. I'm hammering the thing I've made to the things I've bent and drilled. Oh, we can see where this is going now, Colin. We've got an arm, we've got a hydraulic ram, and this is going to work a little bit like a skip lorry. When the hydraulic ram actuates, it will push the arm on both sides up. Attached on the end of them arms will be the second roll bar. That will have a winch on it, and then of course it will hang out the back of the truck. You'll be able to winch heavy things up to it, and then when the rams detract and pull it back in, they will pull whatever you've winched up into the back of the truck. Beautiful. Because of all my years owning a pickup truck, lifting heavy stuff up, especially if you're on your own, is really difficult. But not with this. I can sort of show you it working. Okay, if I plug this in, then you will deploy the arm. And up it goes. It will get faster. I don't think this pumps very pumpy. The one I'm going to fit, I think, has got more pumpiness than this. And that's the right terms, Colin.
Stop, David!
Now, there needs to be a bar that braces the 2 arms together, which will have the roll hoop go over it and will have a winch attached to it. So we're going to fix that, and then we need to put a 12-volt version of this under here. So I add my cross brace, tack weld it on, and then test it goes up and doesn't get all mangled and everything's still square. Okay, Colin, we're happy with that. Now let's go and fit this 12-volt pump. Okay, spare wheel's gone. Now the reason why it's gone is because I'm having bigger wheels. The bigger wheels I'm putting on, you can't have a spare that fits in this gap. So you've either got to carry it with you in the back or just not worry about it. Now, 12-volt version of the hydraulic pump is mounted up here. It is fixed to the tow bar, which will get modified again with a different tow bar on it. And then I've got to get the hydraulic lines, obviously, to this. And then I'm going to put a spare battery next to it. So this runs off its own battery, which is charged by the vehicle. But it's kind of a separate system. So if you're using this, you run your battery flat, you can still start the vehicle. Right. There's a lot of faffing around with hoses now. But at least I've got a bit more room because there's no spare wheel. Yeah, well, future Colin here still knows you definitely needed more room. So, we've drilled some holes in the truck. Still feels wrong. We're putting in the lines, we're getting them all taped up. Taped, not taped. Proper clips, we've got proper clips. Screwed them into the truck bed. We're making a beautiful job of it. Now, my usual method is to offer the pipes up to the fittings, cut them, push them on, dry fit the whole system, and then take them off. And I've got this excellent little hand pump, which basically crimps the ferrules on the end, creating a proper full pressure, high pressure, loads of pressure line. And then, of course, you take them and refit them back to the vehicle. Look at all these sensors, look, on the exhaust. You don't get none of that in the old ones. Now, the thing I like about the old vehicles is they don't beep at you for anything. You can take your seatbelt off. They don't care. You can open the doors. They don't care. You can get out, and they just don't care. You can sit on the bonnet and go. They don't care. You can even leave the vehicle and run along the side of it. Oh, we're ready for a treat. Okay, now while you guys have been messing around, I've finished this off. Now, slight change of plan. I've not fixed everything to the tow bar. I've made a separate bar for it all to hang on, and I've actually got a different tow bar now. I've got one of these quick hitch ones. They're a lot more discreet. It looks a lot better. I'm happy with that. So, we've got the spare battery. That is connected to the main battery via this battery management system, so this battery won't drain the main battery. We've got the pump. Now, so the pump is not completely hardwired and on all the time, I've hidden a little switch just above the license plate so you can turn it on and then that's activated. Now, This is looking fantastic. It's all got to be powder coated and tightened up and everything. Very nice. But while I've also been doing this, my tube's been bent. Oh yes, they got me roll bar. Colin's got a roll bar. I got a roll hoop. I got a roll hoop. Oh, Colin, I'm afraid you're just too damn loud. Well, I've actually got 2 roll hoops or roll bars, depending on what I want to call them. Now, these are a little bit tricky to get bent. I actually put an Instagram post out, you should probably follow me on there, asking if anyone could help out. And the guys at JJA Engineering sorted me out, but they sent them off with a load of stuff they were doing. So I don't actually know who bent these in the end. Anyway, absolutely fantastic. Now, I've added a second quick hitch connection here, because this is for the winch. You're going to slide that on there, it'll lock into place, the cable will come up over a little hooky wheelie thing which I've got to add on, and then go down, and you can either pull stuff into the back of the truck directly off this, or of course when it's swung over, it can lift stuff up. Beautiful! The last thing we need to do on here is get these 45-degree bits to come down, like they do in the film. But, Colin being fussy, I want these removable, because Rick had a Hilux pickup truck that had these angle bits on, and they did quite often get in the way when you were putting big stuff in the back, so I don't want them to be a permanent welded on feature. How am I going to do that? So I started by offering some wood up to see which angle I preferred and where I'm going to go to. But there is a complication. The one in the film actually welds down to the inner rear arches, but I can't do that because of my hydraulic system. So with a rough idea of the angle, I fired the tube notcher up and made myself a little test piece to see what it would look like. Now, when offered up against the truck, it became apparent that I didn't want it to sit on top of my frame because that just didn't look right. So the solution is a short bit of tube which sticks out on the inside. Now, I want to be able to remove this, so I'm going to put a 20mm bit of bar through the box section, and I've got this fantastic cordless mag drill, which is coming in very handy. So with a beautiful hole drill, I slide my little 20mm rod with an 8mm hole through it. Now, I've put that in there because if you put a bolt straight through the middle of a piece of box section, you'll tighten it up and it will crush the box section and look terrible. I'm going to weld it up, mind the eyes in the bright light, thank you very much. You really should be wearing goggles watching my videos. Grind the outer face smooth, and then I can fix on my little short bit of pipe of which my down tube can fix onto. Weld these together and then devise a similar system for the other end. Now, if it wasn't for my green Hilux, me and Charlotte might not have met, which would mean my kids wouldn't exist. Now that's very Back to the Future. Okay, this is looking absolutely fantastic, but the best bit is yet to come. I'm going to take this off and get the powder coated, but while I'm doing that, bigger wheels, fatter arches. Now, I'm not actually doing this bit myself, but the people that are doing it, oh, they have got a pedigree in this work. Oh yes, these boys know what they're doing. Now, what these guys don't know about trucks is not worth knowing. If you think you've heard of them, you probably have, because they built this. This is the Toyota Hilux that took the Top Gear boys all the way to the North Pole. Now, it's a bit dirty at the minute, because I had the pleasure of driving it around a quarry the other month, and it was a lot of fun. But what are they doing to my truck? These are the wheels and tyres I've got on the vehicle at the minute, and like I've always said, these are too small compared to the body of the vehicle. So I want to fit these. Yes! Colin, these wheels are huge. I fully approve. Well, I mean, I am the same person. But I know what you're thinking, Colin, why are you doing all this work? Well, the quick and easy way to put big wheels on a truck is to give it a massive lift kit. But this has a negative effect on the handling, even if it does look quite cool sometimes. This is done because when you turn your front wheels, the wheels disappear into the arches, and of course if they're a lot bigger, then they'll rub on the inner panels. So of course lifting the vehicle up means the wheel is a lot lower and doesn't do this. Now, Arctic trucks, on the other hand, they approach this differently. They completely re-engineer the frame, body and bodywork of the truck to keep all of the clearances high, but the centre of gravity low. Extensive work is carried out at the front of the vehicle, underneath and above. In fact, so much bodywork is removed, you can temporarily get in your truck from a different way. Even the front chassis mount is removed. The area is then cleaned, and then a new modified version is relocated. Then the rebuild process can begin with Arctic Truck's bespoke panels. Then the re-engineered body is primed and painted in multiple layers to prevent any rust. The rear arches too receive a similar treatment, and the whole vehicle is given uprated suspension. But it doesn't just stop there. The front and rear differentials are removed, as adding big wheels affects the top speed and the low down torque delivery. So the differentials are re-geared and the speedo recalibrated to reverse any of the effects of the big wheels. And because these wheels are not just bigger, they are wider, the outer edge of the wing has to be modified and Arctic Truck's bespoke flares are added to accommodate for this extra width. It's over 100 hours of work, but another reason for choosing Arctic Trucks is because they're Toyota approved. None of this will affect my warranty. And now with the 37-inch tyres and the wider arches, it's time for the big reveal. No, Marty did not have an ejector bed, Colin.
Here's your keys. You're all waxed up, ready for tonight. Keys.
It's not going to fit in there, is it? I know, we'll do a nice blue sky panning down to it driving. Introducing the Furs Model 8525. Okay, I'm well happy with this. If I saw that in a film or anything, I would want it. Now, the Arctic Trucks conversion has definitely made a massive difference. The wide arches, the extra height, because this thing is pretty big now. If you park it in a car park in the UK, it does kind of tower above the vehicles. But what it has done is it's brought all the proportions back in line with why the original one looks so cool. This one before had a massive fat body, tiny little wheels. Now, everything looks right. Now the front bull bar is something I was always a little bit worried about because the old trucks had a dead flat front and these modern vehicles are more pointed. So to copy it exactly, I'd have tubes running right along, kicking in at the end. It would look all out of proportion and look a bit silly. So this is where I'm at. Now, I managed to bend this bit myself. Stakesy gave me an adapter that goes on my tube bender so it can bend 2-inch, and I've kind of like had like a mock-up jig with working out the lengths of all the bars and everything. This is where I'm at. I like it. It's all fixed through the grills and it looks good. And I know I like it because when I took it off to get it powder coated, I looked at the truck and thought it looked bare. And that's a sign that I got it right. Now, these front lights are pretty much identical to the original ones used in the film. And I know this because the guy that sent these to me, Greg, from Greg's Restorations, actually restored the original Back to the Future Hilux. He's done a video and stuff on it. I'll stick a link. Anyway, he sent me these. I have 3D printed some covers because obviously the ones in the film had the yellow covers. But as well as sending me these, he sent all sorts of decals and sticker kits and stuff like that, which I can put on my original Hilux. Thank you very much, Greg. Much appreciated. Oh! Spotlights on the roll bar. These are by Vision X. There's 4 of them. You've got like the intensity beams in the middle and then you've got the spreader beams on the outside. Now I've actually fixed these to a separate plate. So if I undo these little screws, look, you can take them off and then you can get rid of them. Because obviously if you want to put a ladder or something on this truck and you want to put it up against the roll bar, you don't want it to be leaning up against these. So you basically just put the little cable down there, screw these little things back in, and there's another little Anderson connector under here. Click that in there, and then boom, you're good to go. And oh, are these things bright. When you turn this on, it goes from night time to daylight. Come on. Mega beam! That is like a second sun! Oh my God! Okay, the tailgate. Oh, by the way, sticking the Toyota sticker on made a massive difference. It's blooming awesome. But my little fold-out thing, I'm still on the steel version. I've had it powder coated. It still works. You flip it up, you put it on, very nice. But this thing is way too heavy. I know even more so now because after taking it off, feeling the tailgate again, then putting it back on again, I realised just how heavy it is. It's ridiculous. Now, I've tried doing an aluminium version, 6mm aluminium. It got a little bit lighter, wasn't loads lighter, but also it started to stick up a little bit too much, a bit too thick. So I didn't like that. I cut a 4mm one out. That clearly wasn't going to be strong enough. So I think I'm going to live with this for a little while and think if there's any better way of doing it or how any other ways to do it. Because yes, you can shove a piece of plywood in, but it still doesn't quite fit in it. So I think I need a little bit more thought on this. But Colin, what about the hydraulic lift thing you made of? Oh, check this out.
So, turn the power on with a key, add the connector loop cable for the winch, add the winch and then secure it with its through pin, connect it to the power supply and then using the remote, extend the cable out, loop the cable round, through and over the hook, then take the motor pendant and extend the arm. Now you're ready to lift something. What, you mean like a pallet of limited edition Colin First bundle boxes? Now Colin is beautiful and there's amazing value they are. They're not very heavy. Now this is.
There is no way as a human I'm putting this in the back of the truck, but how heavy actually is it? 173 kilos. Colin was never going to be lifting that up and putting in there, was it? But now we can shove it in.
So, lift your cargo up as high as it will possibly go, and then lower the tailgate, and then swing the arm and swing the cargo into the back of the truck. Absolutely brilliant, Colin.
That works fantastic. And the pumpiness has improved as well. I told you it'd get quicker. That's my favourite bit, that is. Now, I've not just made this because it looks cool. I actually want to use it and I want it to be practical. Hence why I've put all the effort in making the lift mechanism. So, I've got quick hitches all over it. We've got one at the back, which of course mostly used for towing. The one on the actual roll hoop where the winch is. I've made another adapter, which you slot into that, and then it means you can put two mountain bikes and clip them in nice and securely. That's pretty cool. There's one at the front as well. And then I've made this, which holds Insta360 camera. This is how I got some of those cool driving shots. And also, I've had a compressor fitted in the engine bay. The outlet to that is near the diesel cap. And that could come in handy. As you remember, I've got no spare wheel. But of course, the main question is how does it stack up against the original one from the film? Well, we can compare them. How cool is this? In fact, I'm going to get out of the way because I don't want to ruin this shot. So, the DeLorean Owners Club had a meet-up in the beginning of October. I don't know if you saw on my social post, I had like 20 DeLoreans descend upon my neighbourhood. And then this guy shows up in this, and I'm like, where's that been hiding? Turns out he lives 20 miles up the road from me. Anyway, Toyota SR5, Furs 8525. Next to each other, I think they look cool. I mean, obviously, we know this one's bigger, and now I see that one next to it. It's nearly like, that truck had a child. But, you know, have I got it right? Have I nailed it? Which one would you pick? That's the main thing, because I didn't think I would get anywhere near making something as cool as that. But this has grown on me massively. I think this is absolutely brilliant. But, you know, it's you guys. You make the decision. Which one would you have? Now, I think in terms of the perfect truck, I actually think one in between them would probably be about right, because that one does look very small now in today's standards, but this one obviously is clearly massive, and driving around some of the tight streets of Stamford, it is a bit big, but it is cool. Now, I may have mentioned Back to the Future 4 in the title of this video. Sorry guys, I know it's a bit clickbaity, but come on, you've got to play the game sometimes. Now, I have always been like dead against it. Don't touch them. Definitely don't try and remake the original 3. Could they do like a sequel, a 4, you know, after thingy, you know, from the kids' perspective? Maybe. There was a watch advert that came out a few weeks back. It was some AI generated nonsense, but it kind of did make me think, maybe they could. But my gut feeling says, no, leave it alone. Okay, this has been a super cool project. I am very pleased with this, but anyone knows who does a project car, they're never really truly finished. There are still things to do with this. I've noticed since I've got the SR5 here that my light covers, the yellow's not quite right, so I'm currently printing some more of them out. I've got some other little stickers, other little bits and bobs to do. The list will continue to go on. Now, thanks to the guys at Arctic Trucks. If you want your own Arctic Trucks conversion, their details are in the description. They don't just do Hiluxes, they do Land Cruisers, they do D-Maxes. Very good. And of course, don't forget your Furs bundle box. Now, I'm really pleased with these. I think these are great. Now, some of you may notice that this does actually pay homage to the old Toyota logos of the past, and I just think the colours and everything are absolutely fantastic. Now, of course, once these are gone, they are gone, so if you do want one, do get one. Thank you very much for watching. The next video is going to be a different way of looking at bicycle suspension. Yeah? What's that, though? Oh, subscribe. The Colin Furze channel has hit 4 million subscribers. So to celebrate, look what I've made! A giant spinny, cagey, turny, fiery thing! Now what this actually does is make a giant fire tornado, and it does that by the whole thing spinning round! So all we've got to do now, light a nice fire in the bottom. I'm going to make Rick over here on the gas bowl to give it some extra beans. Get a nice big fire tornado going, and then when we're happy with that, I think we should stuff a load of fireworks in the top of it, because that's what we do. Right, let's get cracking. Woo! Now let's stick some fireworks on it. That was cool, but I've got a box of rockets left, and I say these ones don't get to the sky. Channel. Come on, 5 million next. We're up. Now, as well as celebrating subscriber milestones with an epic project, I also like to run a limited edition t-shirt. Click on the t-shirt logo and go check it out. Now, as well as that, we've got the free videos which have propelled this channel from 3 to 4 million subscribers. We have the huge 360 swing, the giant Star Wars AT-ACT Kids Playhouse, and not least, some liquid nitrogen palm mounted freeze blasters. Yep. Also, big thanks to Epic Fireworks supplying all the fireworks. Click on their logo down there to check out more about those little people. And then we've got Carlos Drone Loss, who does all the drone filming for me. click on the little drone, check out its behind the scenes vlog. And of course, thank you to everyone that subscribed to the channel, all the people that watch my videos. It's very much appreciated. See you in the next project. I really don't need to like Collins. Okay, Internet. Now, to celebrate the release of Far Cry 6 on the 7th of October, Xbox and Ubisoft have challenged me, Colin Furs, to create some items from the game. Now, I've already made one of the Supremo backpacks, the Exterminador. Now, in the game, it's like a load of mortars, but I've basically got a fireworks display and strapped it to my back. Now, links to that video are in the description and linked at the end of the video. But the other thing in this game which I like is that of the resolver philosophy. And this is the kind of make, do, amend, make weapons and vehicles out of whatever you can find lying around. And some of the vehicles in the game are pretty cool. You've got old like 50s cars with machine guns on the top, beach buggies, you name it, it all likes it's come out the scrapyard. So, I think we should go to the scrapyard, get some components and make our own vehicle. Let's have it! I've got a bicycle, that is a good start. And, oh yes, this little bad boy. Now, this is the idea I've got. Take the engine of that and put it in the bicycle, but I know what you're thinking, lawnmower engines, they sit flat and you need the drive to be sideways. Well, what if we had the lawnmower engine powering a hydraulic pump, which then powered hydraulic motors, which turn the wheels, and if that works, we can make this bicycle two-wheel drive because we can stick a hydraulic motor on the front and a hydraulic motor on the rear, and oh, we can just be climbing over everything. Boom. Right, I've tried starting it, it does work. Sounds pretty rough, but it does run. Right, let's get it off here and then try and work out how we can mount it in our bicycle frame. Oh, oh. Right, so I've got this little hydraulic pump. This is a spare one left over from the bicycle of hydraulics. Put some gears on here. Oh yes, already fits. And we'll mount that somewhere like that, and then that can be like. Of course. New merch, new merch, new. I don't think it's got many miles left in it. Of course, we do have to remember this was on the scrap heap. Now, it still works, I wanted to test it because I did notice that the output shaft was quite bent. And I've hammered it back and it's still bent, but I think we can live with it. This is very on brief with what I've been asked to do. So, the resolver way. Find junk, make something. And this is junk. We need a secondary engine support and then get our. It sounds like a bag of nails. You got a zip tie. Okay, then, internet, what just happened? Well, it, the engine turns the pump, which turns the motor. I've had to swap the engine because I tried to stop the motor and it conked out nearly immediately because that old engine was completely knackered. So I've got a not quite so knackered engine now, and it's marginally better. Now, they've only got 3 horsepower, these engines, from new, so they've probably got like 1.5, 2 maximum, so it's never going to be like a super power machine. But anyway, the whole thing works. I think at some point one of these hydraulics has been left outside because it's got water in it, because the oil now looks like honey, but we can clean that. That's all good. Right, proof of concept is good. Let's mount this motor on the forks to drive the front wheel, and then we will see what other problems occur. This is the real reason I made the tunnel. Look, so I've got like a bicycle inspection pit. Come on, stop messing around. Get on with it. Okay, it's plumbed up, we've got oil in it, and the good news is, the wheel moves! The bad news is, of course, we have very little power. You can literally stop it with your hand. Before we chuck all this on the scrap heap, there are a couple of things I want to try. I'm going to put a bypass in, so once the engine's running, it can just be circulating itself and not actually powering the motor, because as soon as you start this thing, it wants to move. So we've not got a lot of control over it at the moment. And I've looked at it and thought the wheel's actually spinning reasonably fast. And I tried starting it in the garden, like suspended in the air, and then running and then dropping it down to see how fast it is actually turning. And I couldn't do that very well, because either I wasn't running fast enough or it was just a very difficult operation to perform. What we can do, get that sorted, and then we can mess around with the gear ratios, because basically we can change sprocket sizes here and at the front till we get to a point where the little engine power we have got remaining is enough to self-sustain and turn the wheels with Colin on it. Right, let's do all that. Bypass. Okie dokie, we have our bypass, which is effectively our clutch, and I've changed the gear ratio down here. Will you work? Okay, we don't have speed and we do not have power, but the engine runs and it does turn the wheels. That is the one thing we can be satisfied with. So, ultimately, these engines too small, not got enough wallop, but it's all right. I've managed to source a ride-on mower, which wouldn't fit through the gate, but I've tested it, the engine runs, I've got it out. Third engine swap necessary, people. Wow! Oh, look at that. Fits in there a treat, doesn't it? Third engine in, still no good. So basically I've added valves, bypass valves, to stop me over pressurising the pump. We've even connected it into the 240 volt pump underneath my bench. I've had oil spraying everywhere, but basically this motor is not powerful enough because we've got 11.5 horsepower here now. So we are losing horses left, right and centre. They have just disappeared. So although it's very unresolver-like, because this is just stuff I've had lying around from other projects, I've had to buy a bigger pump and a bigger motor because I want to see this thing work. New pumps on, plumbed in, thought I'd have a little tickle around the garden, but it turns out the chain and sprocket off a bicycle is now not man enough to take the torque, so I've had to swap it for a bigger one, something with a bit more meat. Got back in the garden, turns out it is going to work, and it nearly powered me into the swing and clotheslined myself. So I think we'll take my oil-covered camera up the airfield, give it a proper test. Not very easy to pedal now, this big engine in the way. It's actually full! It finally worked! Right, we gotta put the van next to it! See how fast this thing goes! 30 mile an hour! all that messing around, eh? And it turns out I just had the wrong engine and the wrong hydraulics. But, you know, the resolve way is to kind of use what you've got lying around and finding things in scrapyards. And you don't really find many ride-on lawnmowers in scrapyards. So I thought using a push mower would be better. But anyway, not good enough. Now, 30 miles an hour, it's all right. Now, I've messed around with the gearing and I've got it to go a bit faster. But if you think back to the beginning of the video, I didn't kind of have speed in mind when I made this. It was the fact that we could put 2 hydraulic motors on and give it 2-wheel drive. And that is interesting. Okay, we're sorted. We've got 2 hydraulic motors now, and I've actually upped the capacity of them, so the thing should have even more torque. And of course, we've given it a little bit of colour. We've kind of made it look like what the vehicles look like in the game, because everything in the game, although it is all made out of junk and stuff, it does all look pretty cool, and there's nice colours and textures, so we've kind of added that. Bits of cloth, you know, bits of strapping and stuff, all these sorts of things that you expect to find. Right, let's go and give it a test in what I can only describe as the nearest thing to Yara we have in Lincolnshire. Chains are jumping, so we're going to do away with the chains and go direct drive onto some thicker wheels. 3, 2, 1, here she is! We've got space saver wheels, motors directly driven. Is this gonna work? Yes, just show us it working. Well, it does work now. We do have a 2-wheel drive bicycle. It has no brakes. Obviously, I remembered that as I went shooting off into the ditch straight away. It is very heavy and it is very slow, but unfortunately with the engine, with the setup, that's as best as it's going to get. If I get a bigger pump to put more oil into the motors to make them turn faster, then the engine will struggle even more to turn it. This is the best this is going to get. And when I think back to it, like bombing up the runway at 40 miles an hour, that was actually its best setup now. Little did I know. But I love the idea of the 2-wheel drive bicycle. It feels like if you were in a situation, you know, like in the game, and you wanted to get away, if this went 40 miles an hour, that'd be super versatile. But it didn't. But it looks cool, and it's been a massive learning experience. Now, of course, don't forget the game, Far Cry 6. It is out on the 7th of October. There is links in the description. And I've got one more thing, one more Supremo backpack in me. That is the next video. Subscribe and I'll see you there. Give it a motor!
Oh, this is going to be interesting. Yeah? SoStream360swinging.com/, here we go. Straight over from standstill. That's what you can do when you've got power. It doesn't stop. Too fast, still sick, too fast, no! Stop! Come on, kid. Oh, I don't feel good. That was too fast. That was too fast for me.
How you feeling then, Colin? How you feeling now?
I don't feel very good. See how we built this wonderful machine in one of these boxes somewhere, and the drone operator's done a behind the scenes video. If you want to check that out, click the drone. And I've done some other things as well in the other boxes. subscribe. Oh, call it a day now. I think we'll call it a day.
Subscribers, so we're gonna let this